So, exactly how do you relax and sweep away all mental burdens? Hello, gals, and welcome to Sobriety Snippets for Ambitious Women 40 Plus, helping you drop the wine and pick up conscious living so you can have the life that you always dreamed of. I'm Becca Jacobson, and it is snippet time. And today we're going to continue our conversation from Monday because you might recall that on Monday I asked you to open the front door and the back door of your mind and sweep away all mental burdens. Well, I asked you to continue with that, not just throughout Monday, but Tuesday. Well, here I am on Wednesday, ready to remind you about it and keep it going. You'll recall on Monday, I said this snippet is meant to inspire you for the entire week. And so here I am popping in midweek to remind you to sweep away all mental burdens. But I have more to say on the topic. On Monday, we talked about opening the back door of our mind. In other words, allowing thoughts that come in to flow right back out again so that we don't have reoccurring thoughts in our mind going round and round, spinning, 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 collecting dust and garbage from the past. And of course, I'm sure we all agree that we do want to allow useless memories, useless thoughts, useless obsessions to pass through the mind. But what about the things we do want in the mind? On Monday, we also talked about guarding what comes in through the eyes and ears in terms of the news and social media and violence and all those things. But wait a minute, Becca, we don't just leave the back door open and let everything sweep right on through. There are things we do want in our mind, right? Yes, and the things that we want. What do we want? Here's what I hear from you. I want quit lit books, podcasts. I'm looking for maybe a YouTube video, and I'm going to find out. I'm going to read the book. I'm going to buy the book, and I'm going to find out how to be my healthiest self, how to be my best self, how to live a peaceful, healthy, happy life. I'm going to learn how to eat right, how to exercise, how to meditate. I'm going to learn all the newest techniques for nurturing my nervous system to make sure that it's not dysregulated. And that's the stuff that I'm going to allow into my mind, Becca. This is what I hear. And it's going to be amazing, and it's going to get me where I want to be. And I'm here today to tell you, no, stop. Wait a minute. Let's talk this over, gals. Everything that I just described will result in mental indigestion. Yet your mind, even with your back door open, your mind is going to be, it probably already is, gals. I hate to be crude or rude, but your mind is plugged full of information. How much of it are you practicing? How much of it are you actually doing? How much of it is a part of your everyday routine? How much of it have you learned so well that you've experienced the transformation promised by the technique that you read about or heard about or learned? How much of it is helping you, or are you just an information junkie? By the way, time to stop here. I say this as one information junkie to another because this was me. So let me just put that caveat in place before I continue. This was me, and I'm going to tell you how I got off it. We become information junkies, but it's really just another form of avoidance. I'm reading Quit Lit, I'm reading health books, I'm reading personal development. It's good stuff. It's good for me, and so I'm doing good. But we're not. We're just plugging more and more and more and more information into us. And as we do that, whether it's through little earbuds or through both eyeballs and earbuds, we're just plugging it in and not actually doing anything with it, and therefore getting no results. And gals, here in Snippet Land, we have a name for this type of behavior. I have a name for this type of behavior, and that is surface dwelling. Surface dwelling, which I've talked about a lot in the past, and it's really easy to fall into this pattern. So, to continue with our theme of the week, yes, we want to let important information in and not necessarily sweep it on out the back door, but we want to let it in so we use it. We don't want to just plug in more and more and more until we're just full of information with no results in our life. This is living on the surface. This is just seeing a meme, hearing a podcast. It's all just input with no depth whatsoever. So we have to decide what really resonates with me. Is it meditation? What kind of meditation? How long would I need to meditate? How can I learn? Do I want to get an app? Is meditation my path? Because if it is, you can stop seeking another path for now. Or maybe it's yoga, which is a form of, depending on what kind of yoga you do, that could be meditation, it could be physical, whether it's hatha or Kriya yoga, depending on what you choose. It doesn't matter the details. The point is, today, my goal is to encourage you to choose something you've learned that appeals to you, that you think, I've always wondered what it would be like to be a meditator, even for, to just see what that's like, or whatever it is, or be someone who goes to the gym 3 times a week consistently. Although the gym is physical, and I'm actually talking more here about your emotional state, upgrading your emotional state. But whatever's you're ready for in your life, it's better than surface dwelling. So today's challenge is stop letting more information in the front door that you can sort of check off and go, yeah, I know all about that, and I've heard about this, and I learned about that. And instead, choose a path that appeals to you and practice it long enough to get the results. And that would be, depending on what it is, at least 1 month where you commit to a practice and commit to not seeking more information on that subject. And in fact, once you've committed to a practice, you could take a break from information overload. Give yourself a break. Allow the mind to rest in what it already has. Sweep the garbage out the back door. Enjoy the information that you already know. Let it percolate. Let it settle. And at the same time, take one beautiful practice that touches your heart and practice it. Make it your practice. You may find after a month, that's not my thing. I gave it a good shot. I meditated every day for 30 days, and it's just not my thing. I just couldn't feel what I thought that I would feel. Fair enough. Maybe your journaling is your path. Maybe it's a combination of both. Maybe your path is having another human being that you can connect with on a weekly basis. Maybe it's another group of humans that you can connect with. Whatever it is, if you're not practicing anything, you're just plugging up your mind with useless information. Even though it seems like useful information, if you're not using it, it's useless. What's the point in being full of information and having no results in your life? And I'll just remind you, I'll go back to this, that this was me so bad. I was a big fat know-it-all because I love to read. I'm a very quick reader. I love to learn. I love to study. I really enjoyed university, and then I enjoyed being a teacher. And I'm good at learning. I like learning. And did I have any practice in my life? No. It was just study more and learn more and learn more. Oh, I'm going to go off to this conference. Oh, let me go to this workshop. Oh, maybe I'll go try this retreat. But none of it was a long-term practice. Sure, let's say I go on a 10-day retreat, learn an interesting practice, and then not come home and just forget all about it. So today, gals, we're going to continue with our mantra from Monday, which is I relax and sweep away all mental burdens. But we're going to combine that with finding something that appeals to your heart and committing to practicing it for at least a month. Wouldn't you be curious to know the results of something? Now, this is hard as hell. Look, if we could just commit to something for a month, we'd all done it by now. We're not idiots. It's not like I'm telling you something you don't know. So how? How do we commit to something for 1 month? This is almost sounding like a New Year's resolution, isn't it? And we all know where they get us. So how do you commit to something and finally follow through for a solid month? Well, one way is to have an accountability group, an accountability coach, be involved with other women. In fact, it's the most powerful way. If you have a hard time following through on what you commit to for yourself, whether it's giving up alcohol or picking up a really healthy practice, it's because you need other people. And this is not just me saying, because you need to join Becca. This is the missing link for all New Year's resolutions. It's why people join little challenges in January and get together and quit drinking with others and do dry January, or in my case, juicy January. It's because we instinctively know we need other people. Well, you certainly don't want to wait for New Year's, and you don't want to never, ever experience this. You don't want to never experience what it's like to follow through on something to the point where you can speak from authority about that practice. It just, where you can say to somebody, it so happens that I know that over time, even a short meditation practice has profound changes in your life. And I know because I've done it. Or journaling, or yoga, or whatever it is you choose to take up in your practice. But if you've never followed through for any length of time, you can't speak from any experience whatsoever, just book learning. Book learning. Book learning is kind of useless without any practice. So today I encourage you to give up surface dwelling, go deeper on one practice. And if you want support doing that, now is the absolute best time ever, because guess what I'm doing? I'm doing a 7-day live event starting on the 20th. That's like 4 days from now. I mentioned it yesterday. The doors are open for this. And whether you're giving up alcohol or starting a practice, 7 days with me and a group of women just like you is the perfect way to get started. You'll have accountability every single day. You'll have a micro homework to do. And I'll be asking you, are you working on anything that we can support you with right now? And you share that in the group, and you get the accountability, and you get a feeling for what it's like to be supported in a group when you're trying to accomplish your goals. This is called My Sober Summer, 7 days with me. And not only that, my AI companion, which is a GPT programmed on all my teachings that I will give you access to. Only normally clients have access to it, so that you can ask it questions on your journey 24/7 during the challenge. You can ask it in the middle of the night if you need to, or anytime. You can tell it about your practice and ask it for advice on how to keep going. You can ask about journal prompts. You can ask it to help you design a practice that's best for you, and it will ask you questions to find out what's best for you. This AI companion is so beautiful and so elegant, and it speaks to you from my teachings. It doesn't just search the web. It is programmed on a lot of the snippets, not all 450 of them, because that would be overload, but not just my snippets, my videos, my teachings, my classes. So if you want to get started on a practice, go to the show notes of this episode and tap the link and let me know you're coming. And we'll start together this Sunday, July 20th, My Sober Summer. And you can start a practice that will get you off the surface and into the depths of transformation. Tap that link and I'll see you there. Thanks for popping in. Be sure to come back next time so I can keep your head on straight. Sending you buckets of love.